Today, I'd like to talk about what has been going through my mind based upon the information in the course, and that is bias. Now, more often than not, sometime in our lives, we're going to form opinions, and that's a part of human nature. And what's important to know about our opinions is that our opinions are not always correct. Everyone else is entitled to their own opinions, and that we should not force our own opinions upon others. Also, concerning our own opinions, we should avoid being biased. We should be people of objectivity. We should not force our own opinions and our thoughts on others. And this has happened time and time again in politics, um, in public sessions, whether it be by councilors, representatives, whomever it may be by. Time and time again, many of us have noticed a certain bias, something that they've said. This is because they are not objective. It is important to know that when we take a public stand, whether it be orally or in written form, we need to speak objectively. We need to be inconclusive to receive respect and trust from the public. And we also need to avoid alienating the public by presenting our biased opinions. To be objective means to speak and to write with curiosity rather than having a preset and preconceived notion and opinion about a certain topic. One should speak and write based upon research, 100% accurate or close enough research and results, rather than presenting and speaking based upon personal preference and personal beliefs. And this happens time and time again, mainly in politics. Politicians tend to speak to help their cause and their representative party by speaking negatively upon or about the opposing party and the opposing party's stance on different issues. And this has to be avoided because when a public figure, whether that be a politician representing his political party or a representative of an institution, whoever that may be, they are not only harming themselves by being biased and presenting biased information and opinions and talk, they are harming the public that they're speaking to. For example, if a biased speaker attends a ceremony, attends a conference, or whatever it may be, where the topic of same-sex marriage arises, and he or she is biased against same-sex marriage and same-sex relationships, if he or she speaks negatively upon that, they're not only harming themselves and their own reputation, they are harming the members of that orientation. Politicians, when they generalize Muslims as all Muslim terrorists, all Arabs are radical, irrational, and when upperclassmen represent the poor as scum, dirty, and you know, the institutions and initiators of crime and things of this nature. This harms their reputations and has a negative effect on the people they're talking about. And to avoid this, and to avoid further calamity that this could bring about, such as riots and deaths and things like that, people need to avoid bias. Now, bias can be divided into two sets. Now, there's bias in public and there's bias in private. Now, bias in private may include two individuals rooting for two different teams. Now, that is not bias. Now, if person A roots for example, in baseball, person A roots for the Dodgers, and person B roots for the Yankees, there's no bias there. There's no effect on others if person A roots for the Dodgers and person B roots for the Yankees. However, if a public figure has a biased opinion and he spreads that biased opinion and it gets into the minds of others, there's the effect. And this is something that has brought about wars, death, and has kept peace away for decades and centuries upon centuries, because the aggressors and the powerhouses tend to have biased opinions, resulting in conflicts which cause the loss of thousands and millions of lives. For example, wars could be avoided if country A was objective and unbiased to the political practices of country B. If country A follows democracy and country B follows socialism or anarchy, monarchy, dictatorship, whatever it is, country A should not force their democratic principles upon them, and neither should country B force their anarchy, monarchy, dictatorship principles upon the Democrats or the democratic country. And these things, these very simple acts, will avoid major conflict, which result in turmoil, and nothing ever gets settled. To recap, avoiding bias will bring about many positive results, and to avoid it, we can start by avoiding generalization, knowing who it is we're speaking to, knowing where it is we're speaking, and how what we say can affect others.